This is part 32 of LINQ tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss using LinqPad tool. What is LinqPad? LinqPad is a free tool that we can download from linkpad.net. Once you are on that website, there is download now button. Download and follow the on-screen instructions to install LinqPad. What is the use of LinqPad tool? LinqPad helps us learn, write and test LINQ queries. Once you have LinqPad installed, fire it up and then we write and test our LINQ queries using the query window of LinqPad. If you want additional query windows, simply click on File and then select New Query. Now here we have a straightforward LINQ query. The first line here is creating an integer sequence which contains numbers 1 to 10, and the LINQ query right here is retrieving all the even numbers in that sequence in descending order. Now notice that we have dump method here that's being invoked on the result variable. What is this dump method? This dump method is similar to Console.WriteLine in a console application. So in a console application, what is the use of WriteLine method? It's going to write the output to the console window. Similarly, the dump method within LinqPad is going to write the results to the results window. What do you think is going to happen if we don't have this call to dump method, and then once we execute this LINQ query, notice that within the results window the output is not shown. So if you want the output to be shown, then there must be a call to the dump method. So when we execute this now, notice that we get the output as expected. By the way, to execute a LINQ query in LinqPad, you can either use this green button or use the keyboard shortcut F5. Now next to the result button, we also have lambda, SQL and IL buttons. What are these? This IL button displays intermediate language. SQL button displays the generated SQL statement. Here in this case we don't have any SQL because this is not linked to SQL query. This is linked to objects, so there is no associated SQL there. But if it is linked to SQL, then it will show the generated SQL that will be executed against the target database. This lambda button shows the lambda equivalent of this LINQ query. Now for the lambda equivalent to be shown, simply invoke as queryable on the source collection. So we can invoke as queryable on numbers here, and notice that when we execute this now, it should show us the lambda equivalent of this SQL-like syntax query, and within the results window we should still have the results. Now we can invoke as queryable on the source collection within the LINQ query itself, or you can invoke it on the source collection where it is declared like this. So you can also do this dot as queryable, and here we need to use the var keyword. So var numbers, which is a new integer array. So now when we execute this, it still shows the lambda equivalent of this LINQ query. So you can either invoke that as queryable on the source collection where it is declared, or within the LINQ query. Now, can we work with database using LinqPad? Absolutely, you can add a connection to a database as well. So to add a connection, all you need to do is click on Add Connection, and then we want to connect to SQL Server. So under LinqPad driver, select default link to SQL, and then click Next. Under Provider, select SQL Server. Now we want to connect to the SQL Server that's installed on my local machine. So I am going to use dot there, and then I'm going to use Windows Authentication, and then I'm going to specify an existing database to which I want to connect to. So this drop down list is going to show us all the databases that are present in the local server installation. So we want to connect to the sample database. We can even test a connection. So when we click this button, test connection, notice that connection successful. So click OK. Now here within this window, it shows all the entities related to the tables within sample database. So within the sample database at the moment, I've got two tables, departments and employees. So it shows the entities related to those tables. Okay, notice that it shows all the properties of each entity, and in addition to that, it is also showing the relationship between these two entities. So notice that this is a one-to-many collection. The green color, the green split arrow here indicates that there is a one-to-many relationship between department and employees. Now when I click department employees, it automatically highlights the employees table. Similarly, when I select department, it automatically selects the departments table. So here this blue split arrow indicates that it is a many to one relationship, meaning many employees can be present in a single department. A single department can have many employees. So this green split arrow indicates one to many, blue split arrow indicates many to one relationship. Now we can start writing, link to SQL queries now. So if you want some help, you can simply right click on that entity. Notice that it also shows you some code snippets. So for example, when I select this one from E in employees where select, notice that it spits out that code there, and we can start writing our LINQ queries. So from E in employees where E, let's say we want all the employee names that start with letter M, and we want to sort them in descending order. So if that's the case, where E dot name dot starts with letter M, and we also want to sort them in descending order, so order by E dot name descending. So when we execute this query, notice that we get the two employees whose name starts with letter M. So if you want just the name of the person, you simply say select e.name. So when we execute that, we will get only name. Now when I click on SQL, notice that it shows us the generated SQL statement that will be executed against the target database, in this case SQL Server. So here it has got a parameter, and the parameter value is M and the wildcard symbol, and it is using the like operator there to filter the rows from the database table. So that's how we write link to SQL queries. Now we can also use LinqPad to connect to WCF Data Services. At the moment, there is this Microsoft Northwind Data Service available. So let's say we want to write queries against this WCF Data Service. So if that's the case, we need to add a connection to that WCF Data Service. And the way we do that is select Add Connection. And then now we want to add a connection to WCF Data Service. So select that option, click Next, and then it will ask us to enter the URI. So that's the URI for the WCF Data Service. So paste that there, and we can also test the connection again. So connection successful, click OK. Now notice that here we have got two connections, one to the sample database and the other connection is to our WCF data service, and here are the entities. Okay, now we want to write some queries against this WCF data service. So right click, let's say for example we want to retrieve some products from this products table. So right click on that, select this option from P. So it spits out that code for us. Let's say we want to select all the products whose name starts with letter C maybe. So where P dot, and if you want to look at the names of the properties, so P dot product name. So P dot product name dot starts with letter C, and we also want to order them in ascending order. Order by P dot product name in ascending order. So when we execute this, we should get all the products that start with letter C in ascending order. Okay, and when we go to request log, it shows the request that is made to that WCF service. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.